Here we go. Give everybody a chance to get back over here. Thank you for bearing with me. And I'm not sure if it had to do with Telegram or what, but okay, here we go. All right. There we go. Okay, Kim. Yeah, we're getting back. Everybody's showing up again. Thank you for your patience. Every once in a while, you do got to reboot your computer, and I haven't had to do it in quite a while. So apparently there was something going on in there as well. I couldn't even move to my different tabs that I have open right now, which I always have way too many open. And that could have also been part of the issue, but I've been doing this for some time, and every once in a while I got to restart my computer, and apparently today was the day. So there we go. All right, so I'm back. You guys can hear me okay? Hey, JoJo, good to see you. And we got Miss Floyd in the house. Okay, so today is, Q&A Wednesday, right? So any questions you have, we'll answer, but we'll also be focused on the different candidates, because the way I see this race for governor working out, it's Tina Kotek, Betsy Johnson, Christine Drazan, and me. The fourth person, every bit of support she kind of might have had if she's still there on the ballot, which I highly doubt. Because here's the thing, guys. These people that they moved all these Republicans into the Constitution Party nomination, if they crazily win an election, all the other candidates literally get to challenge their election because they didn't go through a legal process to become that nominee. That is a huge question, and that's why you have to do it right. Nothing's worse than having a candidate win and then all of a sudden lose because they cheated in some capacity. And in this case, that's exactly what they're doing or what they're trying to do. And that's okay because it screws it up for them. But the goal we have is going to be a write-in candidacy. Now, we don't know for sure that's what we have to do. We won't know till tomorrow, but we will find out then. And then we have a Zoom call for a number of people that have been invited for tomorrow at 6 o'clock. And at that point, we're going to be diving into some things. So need your support there. And if anybody else wants to volunteer and get involved, by all means, give me a call. And my number, 458-256-9437. Okay, we've got Miss Purvis is in the house. Hey, Sherry, good to see you. Glad you made it. Oh, hey, Mr. Dollarhide. Hey, you're back. You know, it's funny. They get a hold of my computer. It's going to be really pretty boring stuff, a lot of political stuff, a lot of good information, but nothing compromising. That's for dang sure. Thank you, Wilson. I appreciate that. So welcome to the Lion's Den, where people come for the truth, the meat of truth. And you can't handle the truth, this is the wrong place for you to be. We don't pull any punches here. And when it comes to questions, like I said, this is Q&A Wednesday. Any question is totally okay. And we won't sidestep it. We won't, whatever. No political double speak or anything like that. We don't do that here. Which also kind of shocks and surprises people because they're not used to that with most politicians. That's why I'm not really a politician. I'm more of a project manager, and that's how I'm going to stay. And right now, we have two other write-in candidates that we're going to talk about. Also, U.S. Senate candidate Michael Stetler, and also House District 1 candidate Caleb Abel. He's actually a project manager, and I know he'd do a great job in our legislature. So what else do we have going on? Hey, there's Tammy. Hey, Tammy, I know you just called me, so thank you. And we just had some technical computer difficulties. In the meantime, I've been putting together these three files, one on Betsy Johnson, Christine Drazan, and Tina Kotek. And basically it's their track record, their history, you know. And if anybody says it's slinging mud, no, these are their track record. This is their employment history, their stance on bills, their stance on issues, all the hard facts. It's not whether they like Jell-O or pudding. Okay, it's something like that. It's not about the color. It's not about their sex. It's not about anything like that at all. It's about their performance. Okay. The only downside I have is, well, I don't have that type of track record yet. However, the fact is that I've stood on these issues in the same place for basically as long as pretty much anybody's known me. So That makes it a lot easier. And then it's just a matter of getting other people to know me, meet me, and go, you know what? I think this guy can actually do the job and get it done right. And we're willing to take that chance. And because right now, with those three people, you know what you're going to get, and it's going to be nothing good. And there's a lot of so many similarities amongst them. It's striking. I mean, it's pretty remarkable. Okay, so my wife Oksana's here too. And we got Stephen, Mr. Farley from Warrenton here. All right. So you want me to ask you if you're planning to go on the Lars Larson show? Yes, we have contacted the Lars Larson show. They have not called us back. We sent them emails, all that good stuff. We are awaiting their contact. But every time I've been on the Lars Larson show, he seems to always want to cut me off. He doesn't want to let me answer a question or let me talk. And with everything that's happened, you'd think he would. But again, Lars is not quite the person we all like to think he is. I don't think he's the full-blown conservative that he likes to pretend to be, because, to be honest, that's the majority of his audience. Betsy Johnson's getting negative ads big time. Well, talk about like shooting fish in a barrel. Oh, my gosh. And the thing that really bothers me is some of the people that have stepped forward to endorse Betsy Johnson. Wow. I mean, really, I thought these people are a little bit better. The problem, though, is they're all having the same problem that Oregonians in general are having. And that's that we have three candidates right now, and none of them are worth the amount of horse manure you can stack and stand them on top of. Okay? That's the reality. All three of them have stated that they have no intention of changing the current tax structure in the state. And on top of it all, and they all know about this, so don't even buy it when they say they don't. There was an issue. Let me call this up here real quick. Okay, hold on. There was a thing that came out, taxes. Here we go. Okay, so this is Senate Bill 770. Okay, now, mind you, they've all pretty much stated they would not change current taxes, but they all have to know about the new proposed income taxes to fund socialized medicine for all Oregonians. Yes, you heard it. They're going to get rid of everybody's insurance company. So they have all had to know about Senate Bill 770, which establishes a task force on universal health care charged with recommending to Legislative Assembly design of health care for all Oregon plan. Okay, this will be administered by the Healthcare for All Oregon Board to provide publicly funded and equitable, there's that word again, affordable, comprehensive, and high-quality healthcare to all Oregon residents. And yet, none of them has spoke out against this. Now, you think about Obamacare, how much money they poured into that. Now, see, what they didn't tell you about, and the nice thing is Oregon Catalyst did a great job reporting this. They're talking about a 15% income tax rate. Okay, they're gonna get everybody to foot the bill. See, you're not gonna get it for free. If you're living hand to mouth right now, all of a sudden they're gonna be taking 15% more potentially out of your income to pay for this monstrosity. This is all about the socialist movement for the state of Oregon. The simple fact that Senate Bill 770 needs to go away. And they all know about it. They're all about to be or try to be governor. And it's really quite upsetting because they're not talking about it, which means they know, and they're hiding it because the last thing they want to do is answer that question. These are questions they should be answering in these debates. They won't touch them. You won't see them. I'll guarantee that, right? So the simple fact is this: no more new taxes. Also, we have to get rid of a bunch of old taxes, old fees, all kinds of things like that. If you have a candidate that's not talking that way, forget about it, guys. It's not going to work for Oregon. We can't afford what we have now. How are we going to afford what we get then? And all of them are contributing to this. So please be mindful. Socialized medicine caused the cost of care to go up. It didn't drop it down at all. Look at your medications, up. The cat tax. Day one, the cat tax is going to end when I become governor. Because you know why? Because none of you wanted it. Small business, it killed small business. It killed the one most affordable pharmacy in the state for the average Oregonian, people on fixed incomes. And that was with Bi-Mart. Yeah, a little bit of a problem there, right? So we definitely need to fix that. Hey, Leanne, good to see you here. Let's see what else we got. Oh, hey, Mr. Dean's in the house. Yeah, there's no substance in their ads. So here's what we're going to be beginning right here, guys. Is we're trying to talk to a number of people who have offered to provide some serious funding for the campaign. And if you have somebody else that we need to speak with to get that help, because here's the thing, none of those three are going to help save or restore Oregon. They're just not. You're going to get the same of what you've had and worse. That is what's coming down the pike. If somehow, some way we can't get me in there, then that's what we're all going to be stuck with. And I for one, don't support that at all. And it's not just to put me in office. It's not a power thing. It's a get in there, pull your sleeves up, and get your hands dirty and get it fixed. And I know we can do that. I know we can inspire the right people to do the right things, and hold some people accountable for crimes of the past. Let's see. Yeah, we've seen what a great job they've done with socialized medicine. Look at the VA. What a mess. That's right. You know what's funny about the VA, Kim, is that in some states, it runs like a Swiss clock. It does great. In other states, it doesn't. Now, you would think that the VA would have a continuity from state to state. It's not true. Because, see, all the directors, all the managers, they're not cut from the same cloth. And also, a number of them have agendas. The director here at the VA in Roseburg, who is no longer the director of the VA of Roseburg, I think he's now going to be the director of a cemetery. Yeah, a veterans cemetery. He'll be in charge of a whole bunch of dead people. That's how bad a job he's actually done. And now they've had enough people to call him on it. Not to mention there's been a new group right here in Roseburg. And I believe it's right here. Yep, Restore the Roseburg VA Hospital. And I 100% support this. We've had veterans move into the area just because they needed that facility. Taking away the emergency room, taking away the hospice care, taking away the alcohol and drugs rehab program and a brand new multi-million-dollar building that's now basically empty. These are good facilities, and they were good programs, and they worked, and they helped a lot of veterans. And to cut that out, to me, is violating the promise that was made to veterans. So, but I just want to say that, and I'll talk about this a little bit later too. So, so we have a rodeo on our hands. We got Battlefield Oregon on our hands. Okay. And so what I need all of you to do is pay attention to some of the memes that we're putting out, some of the TikTok videos that are coming out, basically letting people know it's like, hey, they're looking at the ballot. Christine Drazen, Tina Kotek, Betsy Johnson. Like, man, I don't have a choice. What do I do? Flip a coin? I don't even have a 3-sided coin. What do I do? Wait a minute. And then they get to write in Paul Romero and fill in that little bubble. You got to fill in the bubble, and you got to do the right name correctly too. So that is how, chances are, if you want to cast a vote for me, that's how you're going to have to do it. And it's going to be important for us to get that word out and share it with people. So the next business cards we have coming out, on the back, we'll have exactly the write-in candidate information, websites if they have them, and phone numbers. And I just ask that you take a picture of it on your phone, send it to your friends, your family, whenever you can get it. We'll make them available. We also have flyers we're going to be putting out. We also have the big posters, the big boards we're going to be putting out too. And like I said, once we have a certain amount of funds, we have to get that done real quick. And it's going to be simple, it'll be real basic, but the message is going to be clear. Restore Battlefield Oregon. It's going to take action of every single Oregonian. And I know we can do it. I have no doubt about it. And you're going to hear people say, oh, a write-in candidate never wins. It takes millions and millions and millions of dollars. And no, it doesn't. It takes an informed public. And the fact is, the public is informed to the point that they don't want to vote for any of these three candidates. That's awesome. That is great. And if they know they have an option, they will take it. They will give it a chance. The good news is I'm not going to let them down. I'm not going to let you down. I'm in this to save Oregon. And if we don't do it now, I have no idea what it's going to be looking like in 4 years. Not very pretty, I'm pretty sure. So, wow, James. So here's another good example. James just shared. He says my insurance through my work went up 15%. Can't really afford it. Wow, imagine that. So listen, guys, they're going to get you coming or going. Every time you pay your income tax, really after you paid your income tax, right? Should you be paying taxes on anytime you spend the rest of that money anywhere? The answer is no. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of income tax. We're going to have to get rid of property tax. You're going to pay consumption tax, things on durable goods, things like that. And that way it's a level playing field for everybody. Not to mention you have more of your dollars working for you. And if you want your own personal insurance, it's a matter of a governor making sure that the insurance rates, the insurance companies aren't really digging into your pocket and not giving you anything for it. Before Obamacare, there were some pretty sweet insurance deals that corporations had for their people. Obamacare came in, gave care to 11 million people, but all the rest, the other 300 million, you were SOL. You were done. And that you were considered the elite. At least that's what they tried to sell to the people that got the coverage. Now, mind you, I met people that actually got Obamacare and it worked for them. It helped them a lot. And it's like, okay, that's great. So it helped 11 million of you, but it didn't help the other 300 plus million of us. How is that right? And then on top of that, the amount of money they spent on it was astronomical. It should have got a whole lot more for a whole lot more people, but it didn't. Just their program, the software, they could have gone with someone that actually knows what they're doing, but of course they didn't. They hooked their friends up, and their friends sucked at it. So the result with Obamacare and all that, the online stuff, none of it worked like it was supposed to. It was a travesty. It was a nightmare for a whole lot of people. Let's see. Just like the student loan payback program. Oh, gosh. Any way to buy a vote, right? Well, we don't buy votes around here. What we do is we say, listen, here's the problem. Here's what we can do about it, but we have to get into office. So this is what we're going to do. And if I can do anything to get your taxes down, get fees down, get the state back up and running like it should, and not going into that socialist ideological venue, we need to do this. It has to happen. And then for the young people, listen, you can't even afford land here in Oregon. You can't. If you think you'll be able to afford it with Betsy Johnson, Tina Kotek, or Christine Drazen in office, the answer is no. A resounding no. So what are you going to do? Well, I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to write me in, because when we reinstate a version of the Oregon Homestead Act, put it to the vote of the people, come out with that program after we've actually recovered all the federal lands back to the state of Oregon and did away with Title I, II, and III funds, let them go. We don't need them. They're not helping us. Everybody, all these county commissioners are all so happy with this free money they get. They get Title I, II, and III funds. They don't use them correctly. They dump them into the general fund with the Secretary of State and everybody, and then they get kickbacks to their county to use the money however they want. No. This has to stop. Oregonians and Oregon has to be allowed to use our own natural resources, okay? Our own natural industries and what have you. It's important. It allows us to sustain ourselves. Being energy independent as a country is great, but how about being energy independent as a state? I think electric cars are kind of cool. I really don't like the battery situation because it's too expensive to replace them. And I also know that there's battery technology out there that would require them to use about maybe 1/10 of the size of the battery they have. Now, that's more economical, right? But that technology apparently is locked up somewhere. I know it is. It's basically stronger lithium tubes, and it strengthens the battery, but it has a secondary effect where it actually cranks out like 10 times more than what that normal size battery would do, which is pretty phenomenal. And so for electric cars, hey, I like electric cars. They're kind of cool, right? But the power that runs those cars, 90% of it, 90+% of it comes from oil and natural gas. Just the truth, guys. We're just trading one thing for another. And the one thing is kind of spendy. I don't know about you, but I just can't afford to go out there and buy a Tesla, you know? And then again, if I wanted a Tesla truck and actually use it to pull something heavy or go four-wheeling for any period of time, yeah, I'd probably be pretty screwed on that one too. So there's a place for them, and there's a whole lot of places not for them. I think that average semi-truck out there can be replaced by an electric vehicle to do 1,000 miles in a day. No, it doesn't work that way. So we had to be realistic about it. But the simple fact is, it's another way to get around. If you can afford it and that's what you want, great. But don't take that high road thinking that you're saving the planet, because you're not. Stripped lithium mines, oh, nothing good. The fact that environmentalists haven't jumped all over that, it's only because they really support the EV market. Somehow they're making money off the deal. But I still like the EV market. You know, charging stations, people working out, planning out their itinerary for their trips, maybe taking it a little bit slower. I don't know. But still, it's a good, viable industry. And it's something we have to be willing to embrace it, but not to replace it at everybody else's expense. We cannot afford to go out and buy brand new cars, especially ones that cost $70,000. No, the day I remember the first car I ever bought brand new was $13,000, and man, I had a hard time buying that. And then the next one I got was a minivan. It was a really nice one, and needed it for the family. And that one ran me $24,000. Man, that about gave me a heart attack, you know. And now, even a four-door sedan, you're looking over $30,000. So how did all the material prices, everything just shoot through the moon? Oh, you're paying for the technology? Really? What? Come on. You know, I'm all for profit, but doggone it. I know the difference between when it's raining and someone's peeing on my boots, right? Okay. Let's see. But yes, VA Roseburg, let me tell you what. You got some great people that are fully engaged in that. Bill Duncan and Jim Little. They're right here, I believe, in Roseburg. And they have a list of people to contact and to help kind of push them a little bit. And mind you, the reason that we've had such a problem with the Roseburg VA is that there used to be a bunch of retired generals that lived here, you know, many star generals. And those guys basically said, no, you're doing it this way. That's it. And that's how it was. They spoke it and it was. Okay. And well, those guys passed. So VA Roseburg didn't have anybody protecting them in that regard. So if you know of any multi-star admirals or generals that you might be able to convince to move to Roseburg, that might actually help. In the meantime, we have to fight this fight. The VFW, the American Legion, every veteran in Douglas County needs to fight for this. It's really important, because otherwise their biggest goal was to move all of this to Eugene. Started over. Someone was going to make some money. They got some land. They already got deals worked out. Even Betsy Johnson had a big land deal. She made a $114,000 profit in a period of like 3 months. Yeah, on a special land deal next to an airport. Yeah, she got busted for that, by the way. Yeah, ethics violations, big time. See, what do we got? Heard that firefighters had a fire down here in Josephine County, almost contained until the federal government took over, and now took. Yes, Dollarhide, you're right. That happened, and the guys that were fighting that fire, they almost had it contained, almost had it good to go, and then ODF pulled them off. Oh, wait, we got this. Yeah. ODF, let me tell you what, guys. There's people there that need to be fired out of a cannon without a crash helmet and a net. Yeah. We're going to have to address this. Yes, Stephen, you're absolutely right. Drazen is no better than the other two. Like I said, we are stuck with three evils, and everybody is running around trying to pick which one is the lesser of the three evils. So part of my campaign over the next 2 months is going to be, number one, truly exposing them for who they are, just so people know. Here's how they voted. Here's their history. And you're going to love some of it. It was just fascinating to me, too, because I couldn't, but I was like, no way. No, how did we not hear this? You know, I mean, if I was Kotek or Drazen, one of the things I found out about Betsy Johnson, I'd be screaming it from the mountaintops, right? It's like if a candidate's husband was a Mason right now. Do you think that would be a good thing on your resume? No. And it doesn't matter what degree Mason he'd be. Oh, he's attached to the Masons. You know what? Out. X. No mark there. We're just rubbing that one out. Okay, Loma says somebody's impersonating you on the site tonight. I did not talk about combining Democrats and Republicans. For me, it's not me. Okay, interesting. I thought you were still in timeout for 24 more hours, or maybe that's somebody else. Okay. Well, I see Loma. Okay, I don't know. Excellent. That's great, Thomas. And Thomas Zoll, by the way, he's running for Congressional District 4. And to be quite frank, I know he'd do a better job than the two people currently running, Democrat and Republican. So definitely talk to him, give him a call. He makes his number available. He's also one of the write-in candidates. So he's a patriot. He's a Marine, ex-Marine. Actually, once a Marine, always a Marine. Semper Fi and all that. And one thing I can tell you people is this, is that no matter what the issues, there are people going to agree with you and disagree with you, or you're going to have a little overlap, and you got to remember this, no matter what, we can always agree to disagree, but we still have to have vigorous conversation. Okay. And, I never expect someone to just accept what I have to say, unless it's a hard fact and I can just show it to them in their face. Here it is. Look, see, this is my opinion. This is what is. Now, the best thing I have going for me in this campaign is the fact that the three opponents I have, it's nothing but facts, verifiable facts. And they're going to have a hard time because, see, with each other, they weren't attacking each other on their actual history, their voting history. I get to do that. So we're going to have some fun. Let's see. Spoke with a young kid that asked what was going on with you, and he was disgusted to hear. He's going to write you in. No one wants to vote for lesser of three evils. That's right on. I'll tell you. So, like I said, the best thing we all can do is get the list of names, the people that we have, and post it everywhere you can. Share it wherever you can. We have new memes that are coming out, pictures. I'll be posting them here on Telegram. Come find them and start sharing them everywhere. And you know what? Stand your ground. Because I think we should just go with Betsy Johnson. She'll do a good job. Definitely not based on our history of 20 plus years. So let's get into that just a bit, shall we? So let me tell you a little something about Betsy. Okay. Now, Betsy Johnson has failed to provide voters with positions on key issues covered by the 2018 Political Courage Test. And that comes from Vote Smart. Okay. And this is repeated requests from Vote Smart and voters like all of us. We want to know where our candidates stand. But see, they have to hide it. Okay, so now she has an education. Let's see, JD Law, Northwestern School of Law, and Lewis and Clark College, 1977. Okay, so we're talking about, let's see what, that's 23 and about 45 years ago. She also has a BA in history from Carleton College in 1973. Wow. Okay, so it's been a little while for her education, and she's been an attorney. I know that she's a helicopter pilot, or she had a license. I don't know if she still flies or not. She is 71 years old. But here's the cool part. This blew me away. Now, before she actually moved back up here to Oregon from California, apparently, she was a former director of the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco. Yes, you heard that right. Betsy Johnson was a former director of the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco. Does anybody have a problem with that? Anybody? Anybody at all? Discuss it amongst yourselves. Yeah, okay. I think we all have a big problem with that. Now, you know that she's been a Democrat her entire life. And only last year she switched to non-affiliated voter in 2021, doubling up on Democrats in our general election for 2022. But I also think she felt that she was so diametrically opposed to Tina Kotek somehow that she'd be perceived as being the better Democrat choice. The truth is, no. They overlap way too much. Way too much. Right along with Christine Drazan. Now, she's definitely anti-business, although she has businesses. By the way, when she came up from California, she started a couple businesses. Must have been all that money she was making from the Fed, right? Federal Reserve? Yeah, I'm sure that's the case. So here we go. So she passed the $2 billion cat tax. killing small businesses statewide. Banned plastic bags in grocery stores. Voted to prohibit single-use plastic straws at restaurants unless asked for. But, apparently all the plastic syringes and needles all over Portland and everywhere else, that's okay. Because we're so concerned about the environment. She voted to increase the corporate minimum tax. She passed a tax on commercial health insurance premiums. So like I said, they're already taxing your money. Now they're going to tax what they haven't, you haven't spent yet. So they'll eventually tax all the money you have multiple times. She passed a tax, voted in favor of increasing the Department of Agriculture and DEQ fees. Yeah, another big problem. She supports the Oregon-China Council. Now, the thing that's really important to remember about the Oregon-China Council is this right here. The Oregon-China Council endorses full implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. More words to watch out for, guys. And its 17 global goals. This is that whole globalist thing, guys. All right. Betsy Johnson, Tina Kotek, and Christine Drazan all support the Oregon-China Council. Now, what has that council done for Oregon? What has it done for Oregonians? The answer is nothing. Nothing at all. But it has set up China pretty good, and I'm sure the kickbacks are pretty exceptional. And one of these days, when we get into the governor's office, we'll get to go audit all these people and all these things and shut down the Oregon-China Council. That needs to happen. And all the property, the farms, the ranches, the water rights, the rental property, everything that China has come into this country, into this state and purchased is going to have to be, taken back in some capacity. So these are the things we get to deal with. What else? Let's see. So then, immigration. Betsy Johnson, she supports illegal immigrants flooding into Oregon and Oregonians paying for them. She voted in favor of increased Medicare medical insurance coverage for illegal immigrants in Oregon. She voted to ban any Oregon state officials, including law enforcement, from assisting federal immigration officials in the Ways and Means Committee. By the way, she's been the chair of the Ways and Means Committee for at least 10 years, I think. And that's the guys that spend all the money. So you get in the Ways and Means Committee in Congress, boy, you don't have to worry about retirement or nothing. It's quite the deal, apparently. She's anti-police. She voted against increasing the number of law enforcement officers. She opposed increasing law enforcement pay when responding to riots. She voted to release violent criminals. She voted to ban any Oregon state officials, including law enforcement, from, again, like I said, assisting federal immigration officials through the Ways and Means Committee. She's also anti-Back the Blue. She voted to defund the police. Basically, law enforcement has to have a way to not only protect themselves, but to protect us. They have laws that they're supposed to enforce. And when they deal with criminals, they enforce them, they arrest them, and then they just kick them back out. Well, that's not law enforcement. And as taxpayers, we can demand that, but they just haven't done it. Okay. What else we got here? Oh yeah. Anti-gun. Boy, she really stepped in it on the Lars Larson show. She supports raising the age to 21 to purchase firearms. You know what? When I was 17, I got to go buy my first 22, Marlin 22, 18 cell, semi-automatic. Love plinking Sage Rats. Oh yeah. Anyway, she supports expanding background checks and red flag laws and will enforce a ban on assault rifles. You know what this is? This is an assault pen. Yeah, and anybody could use it. A kindergartner could use it. It's an assault pen, yeah. Mm-hmm. See, it's got that quick action. And when used properly, can totally dispatch any individual when you shove it in the right place. Everything in your house pretty much can be an assault weapon. But the idea that every gun or any gun is actually an assault weapon is ridiculous. So, oh yes, and she's going to will convene a conversation to ban high-capacity magazines of over 10 rounds. So 10 rounds is her limit. Now, she declared on the Lars Larson show that she supports 100% gun control and red flag laws. By the way, that includes Tina Kotek and yes, Christine Drazan. So what do I support in that, right? Let me tell you. It's called the Second Amendment. It says shall not be infringed. And I actually understand what the intention of the Second Amendment and the Federalist Papers and all that was intended for, what it meant. And very simply, we have so many laws in this state that violate the Second Amendment that they need to be nullified on those grounds. There should not be any red flag laws. There should not be any limitations on your magazine capacity. There should not be any limitations on any of these things. That's the reality. But you need to understand something. When it comes to our Constitution, it's either all of it or none of it, and it will never be none of it. So that means it has to be all of it. So what does that mean? Well, the biggest question we have are felons, people that have actually gone to jail with a gun-related crime. Okay? And if it was severe enough crime, they'll never get out. Or maybe they'll get the death penalty. But maybe it's not such a severe crime. Maybe they just held somebody up. Maybe they didn't shoot anybody or injure anybody. Well, in the Old West, if you got in a gunfight, you shot somebody, whatever happened, and you didn't get shot and killed yourself, well, you did your time. And then after that, when you got out, they gave you your guns back. Okay? The hope is that people get transformed while they're in prison to think, you know what? I really don't want to be here again. And I really don't want posses everywhere, people hunting me down from a wanted poster, which we probably need to go back into effect a little bit. I think that might be a good thing. So for me personally, guys, it's like I said, when it comes to Second Amendment, it's all of it or none of it. And that is my stance on that. Let's see. Yeah, people have a choice, Thomas, and we just got to keep putting it out there. Worst part about Obamacare was they forced very low-income people to either pay for Obamacare or they were penalized on their taxes. Nothing quite like making the poor poor. I'll tell you what, it was atrocious. It was disgusting. See, the Democrats always portray themselves, oh, we're for the working man. We're for the people. They say that. They don't mean it. If they meant it, then everything they do would help them. But it's been very apparent that nothing they do actually helps much of anybody. If it does, it may help a small segment at the cost of everybody else. And fundamentally, we're also talking about socialism, right? Yep. To help a small group of elites or whatever, but everybody that's footing the bill, you're stuck in socialism, which sucks, and they get to experience what they call communism. And if you get everybody up to communism level, it means everybody's getting everything you want. Never happen. Will never happen. Not in our lifetime. Not on this country. Not on this planet. It's never been able to achieve that because they spend so much money, it doesn't just keep getting replaced. It doesn't grow on trees unless you have a Fed in your back pocket. But there's another issue. Remember, guys, there's only two things that causes inflation. Only two. And it's not the guy down the street charging a little bit more for his gas can or whatever it is. No. Two things. Number one, the government spending more money than it has. Grossly irresponsible, lacking in fiduciary responsibility. There's the number one thing. Number two is the Fed printing more money out of thin air. And most of you didn't know this, but for every $100 million that the Fed prints, they get, from my understanding, 1%, which is $1 million. That's what they get paid. So they make $100 million, and well, $99 million goes to wherever it's going, but $1 million they get to put in their bank. But as we know, the Fed has been guilty of trillions of dollars to that effect. After their last audit, and they couldn't account for all that, yeah, they got the money, they spent the money. Okay, that's how that works. So fiat money, now you understand. So every time they print more, your dollar is worth less and less and less. And well, there's people that will take advantage of it, but fundamentally, that's kind of where we're at. Okay, what else we got? Anything from you weird? Okay, house market is crashing. Might be a good time to buy in the near future. Well, like I said, I know somebody that was trying to sell some property. Oh gosh, over towards Portland, and 14 months later, they finally sold it. Got a little less than they want, but a house sitting for 14 months is never a good thing. And they moved to Prineville. Congratulations, you moved to Prineville. I love Prineville. although it's not quite the town it was when I was a kid. Um, Thomas Hall points out fraud, waste, and abuse funded through taxes, liens, and encumbrances. Yes, it's a huge problem and a drain on all of us. This affects everybody. It doesn't matter what party you're part of. And the chances are you're not really part of a party. You've joined a party thinking that's the best place for you to be. But the simple fact is, no. You need to have good candidates. You need to know your candidates, and then you get to vote for them, no matter whether they're Democrat, Republican, Independent, non-affiliated vote, whatever it is, Constitution Party, doesn't really matter. The fact is, if your candidate doesn't stand on the Constitution, is willing to uphold his actual oath of office about the Constitution, then don't vote for them. Okay? And when they have a 20-plus year history of not abiding by the Constitution and their oath, the answer is no. So Betsy Johnson, the answer is no. Tina Kotek, no. Christine Drazan, no. Gosh, we'll get into her soon enough. Drazan wants to cater to the homeless. One of her commercial talks about it. And here's the funny thing about the homeless, guys. And here's my solution. Okay? And by the way, this solution didn't just pop into my head. This is after talking to a number of homeless people who've been through the system and everything. And I was shocked at what I learned. But the first step is to basically, if you can't pass E-Verify, you are out of the homeless system. No food stamps, no homeless accommodations, no homeless program, no nothing. Zero, zilch, nada. Get out of the state. If you'd like, we'll get you a one-way ticket, courtesy of ICE. Okay? Number 2, the next step is, so what state were you living in recently in the last year or two before you moved here to Oregon? Oh, I was in Florida. Oh, guess what? You're going back. That's right. Anybody who came from out of state in the last 2 years, homeless, is going back to the state they came from. What we've learned is there's a number of states that have been shipping their homeless to Oregon because they had such a great deal for them, right? Yeah, at our cost, our expense. Yeah, that's what that was about. So we send them all back. Now, what we're left with is our homeless. And what I learned is that we have a lot of homeless. And one gentleman I ran into met, he actually finally got into the homeless program, and he got his own place, and he was things were going good for him. He had a job. He was able to just barely cover what he needed to cover, but he was able to go out and sit down at the bar and have a beer every now and then. And he says, I was homeless. I'm not going back to that. Just not. And then he was the one that actually told me about the E-Verify, how to fix that. There's another homeless guy that told me about all the illegals that are in the homeless system here in Oregon. You see? They're catering to illegal immigrants who are here illegally, breaking the law, but they're not helping their own people. Guys, we have to change this. And it's not about being heartless to the illegal immigrants that have allowed to come into this country, not to mention all the money some of them get anyway. If you and I got paid like they got paid, you'd sit at home. They make more money than I do. Yes. You see? So, and we make enough just to cover our bills and take care of our gas and stuff we need to do. That's where we're at. We're right there on the edge, just like so many of you. So, what else do we have going on? So with the homeless, like I said, that is fundamentally the best thing to do. And a homeless to work program, we actually have these things. I know. Have you heard about them? No. Why? Because they don't want you to know what they're actually doing. There are legitimate things in there. There's some things that other people worked on, but it still seems to be a consolidation of putting them all into one place. Well, how successful has that been? Because nobody talks about those successes. And for me, I met at least 2 homeless people in the last 6 months that actually had some success. So I know it's possible. And then I also know, there's a homeless shelter in Bend, Oregon, the Bethlehem Inn. I think it's, the Bethlehem Inn. And there's no state money, not a penny. They have made that facility impressive. And it's very strict. It's very tight. It handles families with children. I've known people that were attorneys that were homeless. Oh my gosh, I was stunned. But the thing is that it can happen to anybody. But I also know that there are civilian groups out there with no help from the federal government or the state government, and they run efficiently and effectively, and they help get people jobs and get them training. And they have AA meetings. They do all that type of stuff. with no help from the state or federal government, from the taxpayers. It's just generous donations to the people that are able to do that. You see, guys, this is how we actually help ourselves. And to me, it warms my heart. That is a model that should be mirrored throughout the state. But ultimately, the goal is to create an environment where nobody's really homeless. People have a purpose. People have jobs. People have a way to survive, take care of themselves, and maybe even take care of that annual vacation, right? Well, I'd love to be able to go back to that time. It'd be awesome, you know? I always wanted to go to Fiji. See, PT Cruiser, my insurance company classified as a truck, so I have to pay truck insurance on a car. Okay, see, this is where an insurance company is ripping you off, Sherry. And a PT Cruiser is more like a station wagon, a miniaturized station wagon, not a truck. Can it carry a half a ton? No, I don't think it's rated for that type of payload. So I guess that might be a better argument. And I don't know who your insurance company is, but I'd be curious to know. I think everybody here would like to know what your insurance company is. All those batteries are just disposed of and leaking in the soil, poison everything in this water system. Yeah, you know what? There's got to be a way to strip apart a battery to recover something out of it. I really don't know for sure, but I'm sure there's some smart people who can figure it out. One little girl figured out an enzyme, this naturally occurring little animal that eats and breaks down plastics. Wow. What if we could actually take plastic, break it back down, and actually reuse it for anything we want? That would be a good thing, right? You hear about this one time, and it disappears because they don't want you recycling your plastic. Yeah, they collect your plastic bottle stuff, but apparently almost none of it, most all of it goes into a dump. It doesn't actually go through any recycling process at all. Even with all those different little codes they have on there, like 1 through 6, yeah, no. There's only a couple of those that actually do recycle, but I think 4 of them are not recycled at all. They just go into a landfill. Yeah, let me tell you what, going back to bottles doesn't sound like such a bad idea. At least those got recycled, right? They weren't chipped, they weren't damaged, boom, got recycled. Think about the old days when you got your milk delivered. Clean your bottles, leave them on the outside step. They come in, get your new milk, take your old bottles. They take care of that. We can be better about this, people. I know we can. Ford electric truck pulling an RV only had an hour battery life. You see, Dollar Hide, this is what I'm talking about. You know, when I'm driving, if I'm traveling, if I'm moving, I'm usually pulling some type of trailer or big truck and a trailer, and it's 800 to 1,000 miles a day. That same trip that I can do in a day with that piece of equipment would take me 24 days. No. That is not better by any stretch of the imagination. Anybody who thinks it's better, you're goofing up. Hey, Vanessa, good to see you. Hey, Leanne, let's see. You read Senate Bill 770. Yes, I did. That's what we talked about. Oh, my God. And they're hiding it from everybody, by the way. You heard me. They're hiding it because, see, that is an albatross, a dead albatross that is hung on the neck of 3 candidates for governor right now. That's why they're not talking about it. They're keeping it hush-hush secret. Super secret squirrel. That's right. That's the classification they got on this. They don't want anybody to know because, for example, if I could actually get on a stage and debate these ladies, I'd bring up Senate Bill 770. And how long have you known about it? And why aren't you talking about it? Yeah. You claim you're not going to raise taxes or nothing. You're going to just keep it where it is. Well, number 1, that's bad. Number 2, you're lying because I know the tax stuff are going up. That's that whole agenda, and you 3 are part of that agenda. So no, we're going to go another direction. But I need a whole bunch of Oregonians to write my name in. Myself personally, I'd like to be the one to knock out either Wheeler or Hardesty. Vanessa, you know, at this point, you'd think a dead dog could knock them out. But like I said, there's an awful lot of these elections that are fixed and rigged. It's just a reality. And fighting it is going to get really tough, and it's going to be in court. It's going to take a lot of money. For example, right now, we have a number of cases against Secretary of State's office. One of them, for example, is against the Deputy Director of the Elections Division. His name is Luc Labonte. And Luc barely looks old enough to shave, and his position, minimum pay is around $7,000 a month. And I highly doubt he has the qualifications to fill that job, not based on what I've seen of him. And when he violated my civil rights and Michael Stetler's civil rights by refusing to accept voter guide signature petitions before the cutoff, well, he violated our rights. And we got it all on video. Yeah. Way to go, Luke. You goofed up bad. So when that goes to court, we will win. They will lose. The downside is it doesn't, there's little remedy we can get there. One remedy is the attorney will get paid. And then there's the other issues we have at Alma Whalen, the elections manager there, and what she has done and how they slow walked an investigation that should have taken them no more than 4 weeks at the most, but instead took over 2 months. And when we bring out the evidence we have in that regard, and when she's actually lied on camera about some things, to me, these are ethics violations. But we found out the Ethics Commission doesn't actually handle those. They only handle the ones where people are taking money or using their position for money or something like that. So we have to go through HR. Angelina from Timber, you told me that Betsy Johnson avoided her and avoided taking any questions from people from the organization. Well, do me a favor, Vanessa. Would you tell Angelita to give me a call? Because see, Timber Unity and ONRI, who I used to watch their stuff on Telegram, apparently somebody there has blocked me out of those rooms. Now, I don't generally post anything in there. I usually just watching, reading, listening to what they're talking about. So Angelita, she knows me. And they should know where I stand on all this. But the thing I'm learning is that there's elements in our timber industry right now. They are fat, dumb, and happy. They are making money hand over fist, high-priced lumber. They love it. But then there's all the Timber Unity people that are out in the cold. They're not getting a fair shake. And the thing is, me as governor, they all get a fair shake. Matter of fact, I get to address a certain monopoly that's actually been going on in the timber industry here in Oregon. I know. So can you imagine there's people that really don't want me in office? This is why they've done everything they can to prevent me from being on the ballot. And there's been a bunch of people, like I said, give credit where credit is due. These people that have been fighting me on this for the last 5-6 months, they're guilty of this. They're up to their eyeballs in it. And they think they're just going to be able to walk away like nothing happened. No, not letting that happen. You got to hold people accountable. And I'm going to make sure everybody in Oregon knows who those people are. And that the fact that they were the ones trying to make sure you only had the choices of 3 evils. That's what they're guilty of. So, among other things. But yeah, please do yourself, Vanessa, do me a favor. Try to get Angelina to give me a call. You got my number, and I will answer the call. Yeah, Barry, those plastic bags currently in the stores they're using, they smell like electrical circuit ozone discharge. It kind of stinks. And I've not seen those things breaking down anywhere. I don't see a whole lot of people bring them back to reuse them. Our regular Walmart bags, come on, think about this, guys. You've taken them into Walmart and stuffed them in the recycle box they had for those things. The downside is, you know what happened to them? Landfill. Yeah, that's the recycling. You're better off just using them at home for clean out the cat litter box or small bags of garbage, which we did here. Yeah. So in other words, those bags did get reused, sometimes more than twice. But I still don't see the issue. Thank you, Oksana. Better garbage bags. Hey, Heather, good to see you. See, some people are concerned that cloud seeding will cause it to rain before it would normally fall, causing those areas to not benefit. Question to others. Okay, so Terry, the thing about the cloud seeding deal, and by the way, we have about a 6-7 prong approach to the water issues of Oregon. Cloud seeding is only one of them. Okay, one. But fundamentally, it's only done under a couple of basic conditions. Number one, the right clouds have to be going over the mountains. Okay. Number two, if there's the right clouds, then and based on the water rainfall, if the water rainfall and everything, snowfall is good to go, then you don't have to do more. Okay, because we know what a normal season is. We've had many good normal seasons, but in the case of like the sisters, three sisters, and um, some of our other mountains, their glaciers have been decreased because of the lack of snowfall. And this is a way that we can actually kind of control that. But we put the water where it's supposed to be. We're not just causing it to rain everywhere all the time. No, it's not like that. We're trying to literally make the rain fall or the snowfall initially over the mountain ranges. It falls on the mountains and it goes through the normal filtration process into the aquifers and what have you. So it's meant to be helping the natural process. The goal is not to go and have it rain in the desert nonstop, because that's bad too. Okay, so but yeah, and again, the ash from the silver iodide that they burn, it's just the ash of it because it gets burned very well. The ash itself is totally non-reactive to anything. It's just ash, but it's so small, so fine, in the right shape that ice crystals form in the clouds, and then it precipitates down. And that's another thing. If we could take dust off the ground and fly it up there and drop it out in the clouds and be the right shape to do that, that'll work too. But it's very small, it's very fine, and that was an easy way of actually doing it. Save the environment and get away from paper. Yeah, you know what? Paper is safer for the environment. Paper bags, yeah. If you want to actually do something for the environment, ask for the paper bags. And yeah, again, and then the plastic straws, and this affects business and affects all of us. We get charged for these things. And, when Walmart was just providing their plastic bags as a courtesy, they weren't charging you for them. Now they're charging you for them, going, hey, they were making more money. Yeah, at the expense of your customer. So think about it. It's like, man, you remember the old days when we didn't have to pay for bags at Walmart and they gave us those thin ones that we used for everything? Oh, man, I miss those days. Yeah, we're going to be those guys. Chinese just bought the Hershey company, and I'm happy about that. I like chocolate. And great. So if Chinese bought the Hershey company, am I going to trust Hershey chocolate right now? These people are trying to kill us. They're trying to help depopulate this country. Okay? So do you really think I'm going to trust? These Chinese have tried to get more of, come on. I just forgot the drug only takes a little bit. You just touch it and it can kill you. Yeah, that stuff. They brought tons and tons and tons of this stuff in here through their shipping containers and everything else. Oh, we didn't know that was there. Oh, we're so sorry. Yeah, right. You knew it was there, and you know what your purpose was. So that's going to be another problem. Tina probably got help with Nancy Pelosi and her Nancy husband. Well, one of the things we're hearing is that Tina Kotek is shadowing Kate Brown right now, getting a little inside track on being the next governor. And so they're trying to put the fix in, guys. Heads up. Let's see. Put that down. I'm scared. Let's see. Yeah, we're waiting to talk to Fox. I got a request into them. Got them some information. Should get their attention. We'll see. Yeah, we want to see the Fox News van out in front of our house. I agree, Kim. Let me tell you what. You can fight and die for your country at 18. To be honest, you should be able to smoke. I don't really think you should, but you should be able to do that. Same thing with alcohol. Same thing with firearms. And by the way, I know a lot of young people that have gone through the military at 18. And I trust them with a gun more than I trust a bunch of other people. At least they got good, proper training. I'm going to let self-serve in Oregon or keep it as is now. Well, one thing, Amanda, what was funny is the whole gas station attendant thing before had to do with actually creating jobs. It wasn't really a safety issue because people know how to pump gas. There's enough safety mechanisms in place that we're okay. Every once in a while, someone drives off without taking the gas pump out of their car, but they have breakaways for that, and that's very safe. So my thing is this. There used to be self-serve and full service. You want to pump your gas, save a penny or two? Hey, knock yourself out. If you want full service, they'll take care of that. So why not have an option? There you go. Let's see. If this passes, darn near all my guns will be illegal. So I think I'll lose them in a boat wreck. Yeah, I understand, James, but here's the best part. With me as governor, you don't have to do that. And also, things that aren't registered, no, we're not going to make you register them either. To me, it's a fundamental invasion of our privacy. And I understand some of the reasoning. They want to be able to track bullets and create their little bullet database so they can find out when you've committed a crime. But here's the thing: is that there's going to be times when it's necessary, times when it's not, and law enforcement just going to get much better at doing their job. Is there any way where President Trump would endorse you? There's always a way President Trump could endorse me, because I know he'll never endorse any of the other candidates are there. Never in a million years will he endorse Drazen at all. No way, not happening. But if any of y'all get a hold of him or whatever, we've been trying. We've gone through all our places, and well, we're still waiting. But a lot of people look at a write-in candidacy and they just automatically go, no, it's not possible. Forget about it. But like I said, Oregon's in a unique condition. We have a whole lot of Oregonians looking at the candidates they have go, I don't want to vote for any of them. We may end up with the lowest voter turnout ever in this race. And I have no doubt there's going to be more cheating going on than we've probably been able to really easily recognize. But we're going to be on top of that. And the nice thing is there's a bunch of other people on the outside of our group that are actually doing that too. So that helps us. I'd love for that endorsement. I would. And to be honest, I'm an America First candidate. 100%. Constitution, 100%. So really, I'm the only one he could endorse for Oregon. Yeah, it's not easy to get their attention. Yeah, that's right, Oksana. Lost for a minute, lost all the darn comments. Oh, sorry, Sherry. Yep, we have sent many letters, and other people keep sending letters too to President Trump and his people. At some point, somebody's going to go, let's go check this guy out. Send your podcast to Trump's Telegram or two social sites. Yeah, we can try, but some of those they're really limited in what you can send or put in there. Sometimes you can barely even comment. Put it in the private sector. There you go. What tell us all about the new Constitutional Patriots Party? Is that you or them? Okay. Constitutional Patriots Party. Well, I don't know who exactly that is. It may be a new party that's trying to form. Yes, this is something that we have discussed. I don't think that we've discussed the exact name for that party, because see, the Constitution Party of Oregon right now, they are not connected to the National Constitution Party. They're not. And to be honest, I know that if I left the party officially, that with all the names and addresses, we could get everybody in that party pretty much to switch to whichever party we go to, because we actually will do the right things. We will play by the rules. We will not violate their civil rights and their abilities to vote. We will stand on the Constitution, not communism, not socialism, not Marxism. No, wait a minute, not fascism, which is what Jack Brown and those clowns have been doing. They love power, but the thing is, they don't really have any power. Not really. They've had power enough to interfere with the candidate, which is also by way of violation of state law. It's called undue influence, 260.665 ORS. Let's see. So Leanne saying it is them. Okay. Now, see, there's no Constitutional Patriots Party to my knowledge, but like I said, I think it's a name that's been floated for the new Constitution Party that's actually connected to the National Party. And I know that we've been in talks with them. 1% of the plastics are recycled. That sounds about right, Carol. Thank you. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We'll get it figured out, Leanne. Episode of How It's Made that shows how they take a battery and recycle every component that it takes. See, like I said, with any battery, you got to be able to reconstitute or do something with it. For example, you've heard of the zinc coating they put on things, galvanizing, right? Galvanizing plant. And they have 3 big vats. And the first one is kind of a pickler. It's like it cleans whatever metal is brought in, cleans it real good. And then they take out of there, they dry it, and they go to the next thing. It prepares the surfaces to take on the zinc, the galvanizing. And then after it comes out of that, it's drip dry, and then it's dropped into the zinc tank, and it's hot as blazes. And then that stuff comes out, and it's brand spanking new, shiny, galvanized, and which basically prevents rust. It lasts a lot longer, and then that comes off the line. What's crazy was what I learned is that the things that end up floating down to the bottom of these tanks are actually collected and go into other industries. So the only waste they really had in a good facility was actually whatever you threw in the garbage can. Okay. Whatever you flushed down the toilet, that's about the only waste you're going to have out of that facility. Really pretty interesting. But everything can be reused in different capacities. You just got to know how it can be used and then turn around and sell it to them. Again, no, I agree with you completely there, Dollar-Eyed. See, is it Weyerhaeuser by any chance? Weyerhaeuser is one of the big boys, yes. They are one of the 3 that are benefiting from the current status of our timber industry. Like I said, they're making money hand over fist. Yes. And one of the emails you might want to use a little better than the Paul at Romero4Oregon.com is Romero, the number 4, Oregon @gmail.com. And yeah, you might want to get that. And I just realized maybe that's wrong on the email. I have to check that out. Put boxes in the back of my car. I don't use bags. Fentanyl. Thank you, Dollar-Eyed. Fentanyl. China has been loading up this country with as much fentanyl as they can get in here, enough to kill like every man, woman, and child 20 plus times over. Why would anybody do that? If we sent that kind of poison into China, yeah, what would they think of us? Yeah. No, not good. Hey, Dina, glad you made it. Let's see. Thank you, Sherry. It was fentanyl. You're right. My 18-year-old kid left for the military. He's back home before being deployed. All right, Barry. Well, all I can say is, tell him to listen, keep his head down, pay attention, and come back home. Let's see. Back to NAV, effective 8/31/22. Okay, so like I said, right now with people that are part of the Constitution Party now, as a way to kind of give a nice black eye, because they were Bob Exton was trying to make a claim that because of what they had done, that's how they grew the party. It had nothing to do with me. Wrong. It had a lot to it. I think it had almost everything to do with me. At least about 95% of it, maybe more. But leading up to the time I switched parties to the Constitution Party, that lead up, I was already talking to people, and they were like, "Wow, it's taken off." And then once I joined, boy, it really shot up. And Bob Ekstrom did nothing. Jack Brown did nothing. Roger Shipman did nothing. Yeah, but they love to take credit for other people's work. You learn that too. Roseburg, well, they have, I know they have some plants down towards Winston, some lumber mills out there and stuff. Also, I think a plywood place. So they got a few things. It's Donis. Gosh. Yeah, Donis is such a goober. Yep, cporegon.org. Oh, yeah. Now, cporegon.org, that is the new party, okay? Constitution Party, Oregon.org. But it'll end up having a little different name, but it will be connected to the Constitution Party National. You want people to say yes, that, and I support cporegon.org. Wow. Vanessa, fentanyl kills a lot of people. And the thing I don't understand is why anybody would want to take that in any type of drug laced on something, because, like I said, your chances of death are extremely high. I don't understand why anybody would do that. It doesn't make sense to me. So Roseburg Lumber is who caused the huge fire that burnt out Weed, California. Really? Wow. See, one of the things is with the lumber companies, it used to be if there's ever a fire somewhere, man, truck drivers, uh, uh, chainsaw, everybody in the timber industry would jump on it long before the firefighters got out there, and because why? It's their livelihood too, right? They don't want to burn up those forests. Heck no. Uh, Another fire in Medford, son of a gun. Okay, so let's go back here to Betsy Johnson a little bit. Some more things you need to know about her because you hear about all these people saying, "Well, I support Betsy Johnson," and my point is, you might want to reconsider that and be honest. Why not support a write-in candidate? Why not? Oregon is primed for this, and it's going to take everybody to make it happen. In regards to education, Betsy Johnson voted against reopening the schools. She teamed up with Governor Kate Brown and Tina Kotek to ensure critical race theory was taught in kindergarten. She's anti-parents' choice, anti-parental rights, opposes school choice and charter schools. She voted yes to authorize school districts to retain educators based on diversity and cultural merits, not on personal performance, education, and ability, and also not on the measure of the success of the students. So they're going to keep somebody because of the color of their skin. Yeah, no, that should never be any type of rubric or measurement for any teacher. By the way, she did receive endorsements from rhinos like Newt Bueller and funding from Phil Knight and a long list of Democrat donors. She is a Democrat. I don't care what anybody says, and that's a no-go, period, but on top of everything else. Now, we did talk about her questionable ethics, right? Now, this really undermines Betsy's claim to support government accountability. Me, I'm all about accountability. However it needs to be done, it just needs to be done, and it needs to be public. In 2007, Johnson admitted to ethics violations after she failed to report profits from a land sale. I was talking about this earlier. The Government Standards and Practices Commission investigated whether Johnson failed to report her profits from a property sale that has been linked to legislation that she sponsored. The parcel next to the Scappoose Airport was sold 3 months after purchase for a $119,000 increase in value. The legislation she sponsored gave special access to landowners with property next to airports. Johnson admitted to the ethics violations and was fined. Okay. Now, in 2008, she was under criminal investigation by the FBI after admitting to violation of state ethics laws. Okay. So she went under criminal investigation with the local FBI office. 3 sources who have been interviewed by investigators say the FBI since last summer has been looking into business dealings by the Democratic senator. Okay. And yet, did we ever hear anything about that? Well, let's see. The Portland FBI guy in charge, right, the director was Timothy Thibault. If you know who he is, he's the guy, Hunter Biden laptop investigation, the Russian dossier, all that stuff. Yeah, he was smack in the thick of that. Apparently, he's been hiding here in Portland, Oregon. By the way, no, he's no longer an FBI agent or director of any kind. He's been pulled. And the question I have is, the FBI, in the course of not dealing with Antifa here in Oregon, or making claims that it wasn't Antifa at all. Yeah, I got my whole story about that. So it's hard to know whether the FBI is actually working for us here in Oregon, doing the job or not. Now, Johnson tried to use her legislative immunity to fight a lawsuit for a traffic accident that she was part of in 2013. 2013, according to court records, then State Senator Betsy Johnson of Scappoose, Democrat, rear-ended a driver stopped at a red light in her hometown. But the crash was also significant for the way that Johnson attempted to fight off the lawsuit filed by the woman in the other car. Her name was Melissa Galantine, 42, says Johnson tried to avoid taking any responsibility for her injuries by claiming she was performing legislative duties driving to the Capitol. Rachel Monahan of Willamette Week, Betsy Johnson crashed into another motorist. Then she tried to claim legislative immunity. That was July 6, 2022. She also claims on her website that she wants to hold government accountable. And do you really buy that? I don't buy that. She's 71 years old. She's getting up there in age, and I don't see that's just not a good sign. We need someone that's going to be pretty strong and be able to handle it and healthy enough to handle the stress and the vigors and rigors of being a governor. Our current governor has been in hiding along with our Secretary of State. So you haven't seen these people really. And with Christine Drazen, I guess we're kind of getting to the hour and a half point. So I may have to chop this a little short. We don't want to drag you guys out too much. What do we got over here? It says the Portland branch was a branch of the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco sometime. I don't know the exact date. That's very interesting, Dina. Thank you for that information. Interesting. Yeah. Either way, Betsy Johnson shouldn't be anywhere in any office in the state of Oregon. She needs to go and retire. She's 71 years old. She's made her fortune. Actually, a chunk of it, I think, legitimately. So that's kind of good. Yeah. Go enjoy your retirement. Let's see. Okay. 2-alarm fire last night's fire. So, folks, what I'm asking each and every one of you to do is, like I said, help me put out the word. It's going to be a write-in candidacy, most likely. We'll know this for sure tomorrow, and we'll go forward. And then I'll be traveling all over Oregon. So we're going to start moving down through Medford. We're going to cut over to Klamath Falls. We're going to move up to Lapine and possibly out towards Burns. And we're going to make the rounds and talk to as many people as we can, hand out as many cards as we can, and just make this happen. So if you're able to put myself and maybe an aide up, that'd be helpful where we're going. And we're going to make this happen. It's going to be a lot of work, but I'm willing to do what I need to do. So with all that said, I want to say thank you all for being here and bearing with us through the technical difficulties. But I do want to cover a few things on Christine. Now, Christine has a bachelor's degree in communications from George Fox University. Now, this struck me as interesting because, see, George Fox University is finally now here in Oregon with about $10 million payment by Governor Kate Brown. Now, that $10 million is part of the funds for the soldiers' home that was supposed to be built here at the VA here in Roseburg campus, which, by the way, they still haven't built it. They prepared the ground, they got the road, they got the sidewalks in, but they haven't built the building. Now, the longer it takes, the price of that building goes up, right? And the federal government chipped in, I want to say it's like $35 million, and Oregon had to come up with $20 million. They had it. That was all sitting in a fund, but they weren't quite ready to start the project yet. Yeah, right. And because of that, Kate Brown then took 10 million of it and put it towards George Fox University. So here's my question. Why are we paying another university to come to Oregon? Was this a deal for Christine Drazen? Her alma mater? Yeah, alma mater. I don't know. It's kind of interesting that it's an interesting connection. And of course, as we all know, Christine Drazen does support the Oregon-China Council. Yeah, we know it hasn't helped Oregonians, but it definitely has helped the Chinese Communist Party. She also is selling out the Second Amendment. She sold out every gun owner in Oregon. She refused to block SB 554 that forces all of us to keep our self-defense firearms locked up. And see, you know what? I keep mine handy. Why? Because I want to. So let's see. Oh, and how did she sell us out for? For $2 million in political pork from the Democrats for each politician to spend in their counties, their districts, as they chose. You see, this is that pay-to-play type of deal almost, you know. You go along with this, you don't stop us on this, and we're going to hook you up. This should never happen. She restricted police, right? House Bill 2928 in 2021. Drazen voted to restrict what methods and tools police can use to stop riots. Further protections for non-peaceful elements like BLM and Antifa. So is she scared of them? Is that why she accommodates them? Right? Yeah, we can't afford a governor that's going to be a marshmallow, spineless. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. Let's see. Stripping crime victims' rights. House Bill 3273. Drazen voted to keep criminals' mugshots secret and hidden from the public. Don't do the crime, you don't get that nice snapshot. That's how that works. People need to know who you are, especially if with some of the pedophiles and other people like that we've been catching. Installing the transgender agenda in schools, House Bill 2023 in 2019 and House Bill 3294 in 2021. Drazen voted to mandate transgender curriculum in school no later than 2026. She also voted to force all schools to put tampon machines in all boys' bathrooms, including elementary schools. By the way, so did Tina Kotek, so did Betsy Johnson. See, 3 peas in a pod is what we're dealing with here, guys. It's just how it is. Enabling potential election fraud, House Bill 2681 in 2021 and Senate Bill 861 in 2019. Drazen voted to prevent the state from cleaning the voter rolls, example, dead people and people who have moved out of the state. So she voted against cleaning the voter rolls. And basically, this would have prevented some voter fraud. No. She also sponsored and voted for a bill to force taxpayers to pay for stamps for mail-in ballots. Ballots need to just come in. And I think, to be honest, we got to go back to the polling stations. You walk in, you come cast your ballot. That's how it has to be. It's the only way we can guarantee a more safe and honest and transparent system, because Lord knows we can't trust what we have now. The Attorney General herself has stated that. She's also backing the woke agenda, House Concurrent Resolution 11 in 2021. Drazen voted to change the words of the Oregon State song to include the terms free men because it wasn't politically correct. To remove free men because it wasn't free men refers to pretty much free humans. Okay? It's not meant to just be one sex, because we're all free men. Whether women or men, we're all free. Rejecting American energy independence, House Bill 2623, 2019. Drazen voted to ban oil and natural gas exploration through fracking in Oregon. The thing that I know about oil and gas here in Oregon is we actually have a lot of it in Eastern Oregon, but they're not allowing us to use it in any way. Yeah, that's a problem. Because, see, that would benefit Oregonians. Not only can we have our own refinery, processing facility and everything, but some of that oil, some of that gas will come to us here in Oregon, and others of that will be distributed to other states, sold, and a profit will come back to the state. And if we do that, the cool part is that we could actually give everybody an additional kicker, like Alaska pays all their citizens for the profits generated from oil sales. Why can't we do what Alaska does? Right? Yeah. It's simple. It's been done before. Don't have to reinvent the wheel. Yeah, I call that smart. And if you want to know some other good stuff on Drazen, there's a website that's been created, therealdrazen.com. And it's and as they point out, she's anything but conservative. And we have a new classification for her as Super Rhino. Definitely worth the time. And also, it was really unique. The Gateway Pundit uncovered the twisted campaign finance trail of Christine Drazen, which happened to be funded by many of the same deep-pocketed special interest PACs that also fund the Democrat candidates of Tina Kotek and Betsy Johnson. They're all getting money from the same sources, guys. Big Pharma, Pfizer, oh, you got it. Can you trust that? She also supported the New Green Deal, as did Tina Kotek and Betsy Johnson, and helped tee up other bills for Kate Brown. There's nothing good about any of these candidates. And the idea that they're all going to do a 180-degree turn and march to the beat of Oregonians, don't bet on it. I'm certainly not. That's why I'm here. So we got to keep fighting. Anyway, if you have any other questions, awesome. So here's what we're going to do. We'll be kicking out some flyers tomorrow because we have some things we're working on, but look for some things tomorrow afternoon. I do have a major Zoom call with a bunch of people in the campaign. for tomorrow at 6 p.m. So be checking your email, and we'll go from there. Let's see. Dollar Hyde says there's a teacher who was awarded $100,000 because she wouldn't call one of her students by anything other than their name. Wow. No. What I'll probably be doing is I'll probably be doing another short live, basically to let everybody know, hey, here's all the stuff we have. Here's where you can get it. Send me your email. We'll get some flyers sent to you. You can help do this. Also, we're asking people to, if you have a window marker, you can get them at Walmart, white, blue, pink, green, and basically, save Oregon, restore Oregon. I'm writing in Paul Romero, Governor, Michael Stetler, U.S. Senate, Caleb Abel, House District 1, Thomas Zoll, Congressional District 4, and make sure you get the spellings right. It's going to be important because people are going to ask you, it's like, oh my gosh, there's somebody else we can vote for governor? The answer is yes. And wherever you go, people see that on your window. You go to the gas station, talk to the attendant, say, yeah, there is somebody you can vote for. Hopefully you'll have a flyer maybe printed out and hand it to them. But we got a couple of them already ready to go. And so be looking for those documents. You can print them out at your leisure. And I really appreciate the effort. Let's see. Hey, Lorelei, glad you're here. Hang in there. So anyway, folks, thank you for being here. We've done about an hour and a half. Thank you. We haven't given up here. We're going to keep fighting this fight, and we're going to bring some people to justice and expose the elections division of the Secretary of State's office for some of the criminals they actually have actively engaged in their own politics. They're supposed to be unbiased, nonpartisan, but it's become very apparent that they most certainly are. And with the evidence that we have, we can prove that. So there'll be good things in the future, but right now we got to focus in on this. All right. So thank you for being here. God bless each and every one of you. Never give up, never surrender. That's the other guy's problem. Love you all. Thank you so much.